mindset that literally says that men should be making more than women, right? Because
let's get into it. Let's get into these gender roles. Let's go. Let's
So you know
go.
what? Perfect. So Sam, this is perfect. So, when we talk about gender roles, I need your help in mansplaining something to me again because, we have the Equal Pay Act, we have the different things that are out there where we're just trying to figure out how we as women get to, make the same as men. And even as a Black woman, how do I make the same as even a white woman? How do we kind of even these scales out? But even with that being said, when we talk about gender roles and we talk about patriarchy and things of that nature, we find ourselves in a different demographic, right? In a different time, because now women can vote and now we can open our own bank accounts and now we can do all these different things that before we needed a man to do.
Right.
And it's changed, our quote unquote traditional roles. So mansplain to me a little bit of, where this mind or this thought process comes from in reference to, wages, in reference to being the homemaker, in reference to, I guess you want to call them the progressive relationships and marriages now.
So this is weird for me, right? Because every time I jump on Clubhouse, it's somebody having this gender roles conversation.
Well, that's your first problem there, is jumping on Clubhouse.
That is my first problem.
Let's start there. Let's unpack that.
But I get the sense that a lot of men feel threatened because a woman makes as much money or more money than them. And women are really on their hustle, especially Black women. A lot of Black women are on their hustle right now. They're creating businesses and they're doing all this marketing and they're doing, they do a lot. They're doing a lot, man. They're doing a lot. So I don't understand it personally because I'm of the opinion, but I will say this. I was in a relationship one time. And this girl made more money than me. For real, she made more money than me.
Let's go.
Yeah. She made more money than me. All right. So she would from time to time bring this up that she made more money than me. I personally didn't care because I always tell, I say, yeah, this is just where I'm at, but I know eventually I'm going to make more money. I'm going through my process. And she would bring this up all the time. So now recently, because me and her, we still friends to this day. So she's like, Sam, I remember when you made $300 a week. And I'd be like, hey, man, why you always bringing that up? You know what I'm saying? So I do think how much money a man makes does equate value to that man. I know women don't want to say that out loud, but it's true. So yeah, no, but I think women do equate the value of a man. But I think the weird thing is, if I'm a man, if I'm making, I guess, $75,000 a year, my wife makes $125,000 a year. I don't think I would have a problem with that as long as I'm productive. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that make me. I feel like that's little dick energy to care about your wife making more money than you. That's just my opinion, though.
So, let's talk about it though, because from my pulpit, I preach that women should date above their tax bracket, and what I mean is that women should date men who make more than them. And I believe that wholeheartedly because I feel like there is a respect factor there. I feel like there is a admiration factor.
So you think women do put value on a man based on what he makes?
But that's only because a man puts his value on what he makes. Right. So I think the tweet said itself, like, if a man doesn't value himself when he's broke, why should I? And I'm not saying that I agree with that. I'm just saying that she posed a good question that, potentially needs a good answer. So, I think what you said is very noble, and I even appreciate it because I know people who are in that dynamic where the wife is the breadwinner and the husband still works his ass off and is a full contributor to the home, and the dynamic is there because there's a respect level there. So I believe that it works because I have examples of it. I've also seen where it doesn't work, and the first thing that comes up is, well, this is my house. This is my money. I bought this and I bought that. And it turns.
I think that takes the one trump card away from a man, like that one trump card. Because I think for most men, that is the trump card that we try to hold that, hey, it's my money, it's my house, my car. And I think when you take that one trump card away, then what's left? Um, but I will argue that because I've had certain men tell me, like they be like, Sam, you watch your kid all the time, you have your kid full time. Like, don't you wish you had a woman so you don't have to do all that stuff all that stuff that women should do? And I always kind of feel bad for men when they say that because that's like, a lot of stuff that I do, you guys should do. Like you should want to be around your kid when he's sick and take him to doctor visits and things like that because that's the good stuff of being a father, being a parent. You shouldn't just leave all that stuff on your wife or your girlfriend.
Well, you know what's funny? I forgot what I read, but they also did it was a TV show segment as well.
Mhm.
But the fathers have been, put into a gender role too, where they are told that they're just supposed to provide financially, right? They're
Right.
supposed to be there for the financial purposes as well as the disciplinary purposes. And the funny thing to me is, when they ask these fathers, what's your child's favorite color?
Mhm.
They couldn't tell them. What's your child's pediatrician's name?
Right.
They didn't know it.
Right.
And I would even joke with, some of my coworkers and, they would say, oh, my wife handles this, or, my wife handles that, or, my
Right.
wife plans the vacations, or my wife, takes care of the kid things. And I would always joke and say, I need one of those wife things
Yeah. Right.
because obviously they are amazing and they're awesome. And,
Yeah.
I think, I said it jokingly, but I also meant it, wholeheartedly because typically I am the only woman in a lot of these meetings, whether it's work or even for my personal business. I am usually the only Black face in these meetings. And that's not saying that, that's necessarily a horrible or bad thing. That's just
Mhm.
saying that, in the dynamics that I see in this day and age, that the gender roles are continuing to transform. And, we have more women that are going to college and graduating college, and they are, having their careers, and women are having babies later now because they told us we all need to have babies before they're 30, before we're 35 or we're high risk. And now women are having babies in their 40s, healthy babies.
Yeah.
We're able to put our career first versus, going and finding a husband, because one of my friends like to say that, certain women major in husband. When they go to college, they major in husband, meaning they
Right.
are on the hunt for their future partner, their future mate. And I think, some of that still exists, but I just find it really weird that men say that, women shouldn't want them for their money, but in order to attract a woman, the first thing you flaunt is your
Money.
money.
I mean, let's be honest though, and I tell people this all the time. We have to be honest about this type of stuff. Like, a woman wants a man with money. Like, that's just point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you have to make money to attract certain women, and you need to have a certain amount of money. And most guys know this already. I find it funny when women be like, it's not always about the money. I'm like, it kind of starts with the money, and then it becomes not about the money later, but it started with the money. So I just I in my opinion, you want a living, breathing house. Like, my biggest thing is I want to be present for everything in my life. So I like going to my kids' doctor appointments. I like going to pick him up from school and dropping him off. And when he's sick, I like caring for him. I like doing that stuff. So even if I had a wife, I had a girlfriend that was living with me, I would still want to do that stuff. I would still want to be a part of that.
Right. You would still want to be actively engaged.
Right. I think I told my friend, I feel like y'all are missing out. Y'all are missing the good stuff. So yeah, I mean, but I think this whole idea of who makes the most money, that just seemed like just a big ego thing. And that's just kind of weird to me. Like, even if you're a woman and you're making more money than me, I'm still not gonna allow you to disrespect me. I mean,
But see, that's where it gets fuzzy. That's where it
I
gets
don't understand
fuzzy,
that.
though, right? That's where it gets fuzzy because it's easy to say that,
Yeah.
but again, um, some of my female friends who are, medical professionals, they're
Yeah.
doctors, they're nurses, they're lawyers, they are entrepreneurs, or they're corporate Barbies, right? Where
Right.
they are making the money. And a lot of times what happens is a man will talk themselves out of even pursuing a woman or dating a certain woman
Mhm.
because they don't feel adequate enough in the financial department. And again, that's because they don't want anything thrown in their face
Right.
about it, right?
Right.
Because it's one thing if you make more money than me and then we get in an argument and now you're right about everything too. Like,
Yeah.
damn, can I get one win in here? Like,
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
and that power dynamic.
you can't be
Yeah.
a ball buster now. You can't be a ball buster. Don't
Now,
don't be a
I
ball buster.
agree. I
Don't be a ball
agree.
buster.
I
But
agree. But I think it takes a certain level of um
maturity.
maturity. It takes a certain level of understanding who you are and knowing, who your woman is, right? Like if
Yeah.
you pick the right woman and if you are, dating in the right circles, you're going to find that woman that, brings that, I would say, the beast in you, right? Brings out that beast in you that makes
Right.
you hustle more, that, motivates you and puts you in a good space and,
I mean,
someone that you can see that you can build with,
yeah,
right? Because
ideally,
people are like, you should love me for me. And I'm like, I want to love you for you, but Georgia Power does not accept payments
yeah, you
and
can't be
hugs.
lazy. You can't be
Like
just
Georgia Power doesn't accept love as a payment. They
yeah,
only accept the 3 C's:
yeah,
cash, card, or check. So I can I can't go to Georgia Power and give them our love.
yeah. I can't. Yeah, I mean, like if you is playing Call of Duty and not taking your ass to work, I mean, I can't love that. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I get
That's
it.
it. There has to be a balance here, but
Right.
I think we will have to definitely come back to this because
Gender
it's
roles.
something it's
It's
something that's ever evolving, and
it
I
is.
think
It is.
I'm going to need you to kind of walk me through some of these things, or as my mom would say, I'm going to need you to learn me um, the ways of the world because I just feel like this is something that comes up every 2 weeks of what a woman's role is and what a man's role is, and I live by the mantra: love who you love, and again, I prefer you love someone above your tax bracket.
Yeah, I mean, but if you making a lot of money and you need a man that okay with that, I'm definitely available. So just so you know, just throw that out there. Because I'm tired.
Look, you gotta
I'm
ask for what
tired.
you want. Let it be known. Make it
Hey,
plain, okay? Let's
Nikki,
manifest this.
I'm tired, Nikki. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying?
I know. And we can pontificate on this all night, but I want you to make sure that you're casting your net wide.